what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with the winner, the cup winner, Goat Genetics. And this is the no-name strain because he just handed out a bunch of doinks at the Urban Legends Cup and just said it tastes like and smells like grapefruit. You'll enjoy it.
Okay.
I said, okay, I'll smoke it on the show. So I don't know much about this strain, but Mrs. Weedman and I are going to get baked off this beautiful, fucking beautiful big old doink that he gave us. And while Mrs. Weedman is lighting it up, I'm going to talk about our new partner alert, Cookies Bolingbrook, Illinois, located at 190 South Weber Road, Bolingbrook, Illinois, for the best selection of all cannabis flower, edibles, vapes, and concentrates, along with fantastic sales and savings. If you're a local Bolingbrook resident, show them your zip code for some extra savings. I'd like to thank Amanda, John, Dennis, and the whole team at Bolingbrook Cookies for the partnership. So go check out Cookies Bolingbrook, and you see up close and personal the 8 Decades brand and all their great selection of cannabis and accessories over there. So thank you, Cookies Bolingbrook, for a great partnership. We're super stoked. Thank you again. And don't forget, everybody, it's a big holiday weekend, Black Friday, Green Wednesday, all the good fun stuff. So make sure you stop there and buy some 8 Decade stuff. You know, while I'm smoking this no-name strain by Goat Genetics, Miss Weeman's going to tell you a little bit about 8decades.com.
Yes, swing on over. It's Christmas season. It's time to shop for your friends and family. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, you can go to our website, 8decades.com. That's EIGHT, decades.com. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you get free shipping on your first order. And you can get some Christmas presents knocked out of the way. There is wonderful 8 Decades smoking accessories. We've got rolling trays, multi-tools, ashtrays, grinders, hemp clothing, swag. We've got canvas tote bags. We've got Weedman 420 swag. Lots of really great stuff, high quality, very good product. So check us out. And from there, you can also donate to the Last Prisoner Project. We are a link to donations. So at checkout, you're always welcome to leave a contribution for them. It goes right to them. So 8decades.com for all of your holiday needs.
There you go, 8decades.com. And as we always say, you support 8decades.com. We keep on doing an episode every week. Thank everybody that has supported us so far over the last 3 years since we launched 8 Decades, right? Almost 3 years? Yeah, almost 3 years. May, it'll be 3 years. Ooh. Or are we 4?
4.
4 years now. Whoa, 4. Oh my goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. That tastes good. He is a phenomenal grower, breeder. We've known him now for a few years, done a ton of events with Goat Genetics, and his outdoor grow is something to be seen, something very special, something that hopefully one day I'll be able to grow like that. And I do love his weed.
Good stuff.
It's delicious. 2025 cultivated the 3030s powered by the White Ash Group. It celebrates the rising leaders shaping the future of cannabis industry. From October 1st to the 24th, they accepted nominations from across the sector, spotlighting innovators, entrepreneurs, advocates, and change makers under the age of 40. A panel of industry experts and cultivated editors carefully reviewed the submissions. And the final 30 are recognized not only for making their mark today, but also driving cannabis industry forward into tomorrow. So we have a friend, a homie. I would love for all of you to give a big shout out. And I want to give a big shout out to AJ Ahmad Judah from our partner, our first partner, Starbuds here in Illinois. And AJ, and I've gotten to know you over the last 3 years. I'm super proud of you, brother. And you are a go-getter. Read the book. Everybody out there, go-getter. You are a blue vaser, my friend, a 2%er. You go out there and find properties. You go out there and you hunt. You go out there and you open up stores for Starbuds. I mean, proud of you, man, to go out there and kick ass. And I know the whole Starbuds family are super proud of you and for this accomplishment. And Musa, Basil, Mo Judah, and the whole family. I love you guys, and I love the family, and I'm proud of AJ. Congrats for just being awesome, AJ. Congrats, man. And thank you, Starbuds, for being a great partner of ours all these years and taking a shot with 8 decades and with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. We love you all and thank you for this great 3-year partnership. And we appreciate more stores coming their way too.
Yes.
So look out for a new store coming out in Summit. Be opening up here, I think, in December. It all has to do with Illinois and their licensing and inspections, of course. But we know how they roll. But yes, December will be their new one. So AJ, pow, baby, congrats. So some sad news now. Jimmy Cliff
Oh,
passed away. Oh,
legend.
legend. We got to see him twice.
Yes, we did.
Yes, and he was awesome. A lot of fun. You were so. First thing you said when we got out of the show, you're like, "He's so cute. He
He
was
was
so
so darn
fun."
cute.
Yeah.
He did high leg
Yeah.
kicks, like kicking over his head, and he was in his like late 70s. No,
Not that.
no,
Probably in his-
70s,
probably like
early
yeah.
70s. Yeah,
He
but
killed it.
yeah, he was dancing away
So
in his
much
little
energy.
gemmy suit. It
Yes.
was like sparkly from head
One of
to
the
toe.
starters of reggae, the reggae movement, the reggae music, found a lot of the legends that we know and love today, got them going in their careers, and some phenomenal music. I can see clearly. I love when he sung that song. It was so great. I mean, so many good songs, though. Jimmy Cliff, rest in peace, rest in power, rest in love. And you're up there playing with all the greats right now. So we got a fun article. This
Yeah.
is a crazy one. This is so picture this, right? 3 brothers in Northern California are helping clear out their late mom's home. Up in the attic beneath the old newspapers and cobwebs, they uncover a cardboard box. What's in it? Get ready for all you nerds out there, all you comic book nerds out there. You might have read this article, you might have heard this, but ready? A pristine copy of Superman #1.
Whoa.
The 1939 issue where the Man of Steel finally got his own title.
I didn't realize it was #1.
#1.
Whoa.
Now, there was so many made. I'll get into that in a second. So now you're in the attic, right?
Mhm.
You find what would be a beat up box, right?
Hmm.
But this one had been floating through the decades in near mint condition in this box. It was graded a 9.0 on a
Whoa.
10-point scale by the trusted grading folks at CGC,
That's serious.
making it arguably the highest graded copy of its kind.
Wow.
So why does this matter? Because rarity plus condition equals value.
Yeah, how many
serious
were
value.
printed?
So originally this issue had printed run about 500,000 copies. And over
Ooh,
time,
that's a lot.
Yeah. And over time, most were damaged or destroyed, especially since the original readers were encouraged to cut the back cover off into a poster.
Oh, shoot.
You know, plus they used to give some, as we got older, they had coupons.
Like a giveaway in there.
Yeah, they had coupons that you can cut out and send in. You get those free little mermaid fish things that were
So
just.
you would have had to
yeah.
leave those in place.
Right.
Everything.
So surviving copies, especially in top condition, are all ultra scarce. So fast forward to this auction house, the Heritage Auction House in Texas. This book goes under the hammer and fetches. Now I heard anywhere between $7.12 million to $9 million. So I don't know. One article said 7.2. I watched the video. So I'm just saying between 7 and 9 million. That makes it officially the most valuable comic book ever sold.
How do you what do you do with it? Like you'd put it in like a museum case, but does it just sit there closed, or does each page get taken apart?
No,
like,
no. So they
just gets left whole.
So I mean,
Maybe
it was a collector that bought it.
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So a collector that spent that kind of money, and they probably have, it's going to be, I mean, it's already in a case, a lock. Like they put this in that,
Yeah, I
that
bet.
glass case that's sealed and stuff like that and has the grading
White
across
gloves
the
to
top.
touch it.
Well, yeah, that's it. When they're grading
Yeah.
it, it's because you don't want any fingerprints on it, no oil from your hands, nothing. So the auction house VP, Lon Allen, called it a movie-worthy story and a milestone in pop culture history, and you can see why. A relic from the dawn of the superhero era, lost in an attic, found again, and sold more for more than some houses. So here's the thing: we save a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We've saved a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
but go back to when you were a kid, right? Like when we were both kids. All the stuff that that I collected, that our parents got us for Christmas over the years, are now worth tens of thousands, 20,000s, 4,000. I mean, my brother and I had everything, and my mom threw it all away. Everything, all of our Star Wars, all of our G.I. Joe, all the Transformers, all of the He-Man. I'm telling you, everything I've collected.
But you played
cards,
with all that
cards.
stuff.
Oh yeah,
Nothing
we
was
did.
in its like
we did
pristine condition.
but still,
It'd still be really cool to have.
right. I mean, we had it all. I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't. My parents put everything on a credit card back in the 70s and 80s, and then wind up paying that Christmas off 2 years later till the next Christmas, But my dad loved toys like us. All the toys that we had, if we had at least 30% of those, comic books, baseball cards. I mean, we were kids. Every time you got a quarter, you went and got a pack of cards,
Mhm.
or you saved up for something.
Yeah.
All of the stuff that we collected over the years, I would have probably I would have had some money. That had been in pristine condition. You know what we did as a kid though, besides my mom throwing them out, when we got older, like high school, not high school, but like 10, like 12, 8th, 7th, 8th grade, 4th of July would come around and we'd fucking tie guys up with fucking,
Launch 'em.
firecrackers and
Mhm.
launch them in the air and
Blow 'em up.
blow up all the model cars we built and the Millennium Falcon we did stupid stuff, but we were kids. We didn't know
Right.
any better. What was something that you as a kid would remember that you had that would probably be worth something or you wish you saved?
Hmm. Well, I had Swatch watches when I was in, like, 8th grade. I was on a Swatch watch kick, so I had a bunch of those, and some of those have become collector pieces,
Yeah.
but I wore mine, like, pretty heavily, so they probably wouldn't have been worth anything.
You still have one.
Cabbage Patch
You still have one.
dolls.
You found one
Yeah,
Swatch
I did
watch,
find
yeah.
one. No, I think I still have 2 of them.
2, okay.
Yeah, Cabbage Patch
They're worth
dolls.
money. Certain ones
Yeah. We had an Intellivision system,
that we're getting another
and
one.
we had a lot of records.
Yes.
Like, I remember getting Saturday Night Fever, the Muppet Show movie,
Oh, yeah.
like,
What was the one record you bought and mom was so upset that you
'cause I
played it?
bought, Another Brick in the Wall, and I brought it home and played it for her and her bridge ladies that were properly sitting at the table having a nice evening without children. "Listen to my record I just bought today." Bought it from Brian Markham for a quarter. I'm like, he brought it to school and I saw it and I'm like, "I want to buy that." I'm like, "Can I?" He's like, It's gotta be a quarter." I'm like, "I will bring you a quarter tomorrow." I think I was in 2nd grade.
And it was a
It was
45,
a
right?
45 and I had my little like Fisher Price plastic,
Yep.
like, suitcase record player. And I plunked that on. I'm like, "Listen, mom." She was like, "Susan, turn that off."
The bridge ladies.
Oh my
What are they gonna think
goodness.
with their
My
tea
goodness.
and
Oh, but she
crumpets?
also then in high school chased me around the dining room table for my Violent Femmes record.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
that.
What is this music?
Great music
Ah,
is what it is and what it was back then
she was
too.
just, she couldn't even believe it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, mom." Come on.
I'm gonna say something that weed.
Yeah.
Whew.
Whew.
Nice job, goat.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
fucking job.
I'm a little zooty.
Oh yeah, zooted.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
now here I'm gonna give you all some advice. When somebody an older generation, the boomers are starting to pass away at this time, or some of the whatever they were before the boomers, I can't remember off the top of my head, start passing away. Go through every box
Mhm.
because you never know what was saved, collected. Don't throw anything away. Go
You
through
have to look.
thoroughly.
Yeah.
You'll find what you like to call a what?
Treasures and nuggets.
Treasures and nuggets.
The fun stuff.
So what we've done, Mrs. Weedman and I have done, we saved a lot of our kids' stuff. Like the stuff that I had a feeling that might be worth something someday, we've saved. They were played with though,
Or
unfortunately.
stuff that I knew they really liked.
We're like, yeah.
And someday they're gonna see it again and be like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
I can't believe I still have this."
Like we had
Yeah.
Paulie's all of the Pokemon cards we collected when it first came out.
Mhm.
We didn't get any of like the ones that came from Japan, unfortunately, like those special ones that are
But
worth like a lot of money.
probably
But
everything from like 1998
yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
Something like
absolutely. He
that.
had the little Pokédex. Remember, we found that. We
Yeah.
saved that for him. Plus, I collect one. I collect Star Wars stuff still, but there's only one kind I actually really collect now, and that's the coin, the 30th anniversary coin edition. That's the only one I collect, and those are all in boxes. Those are all
Mhm.
still in.
Yeah.
And Miss Wee Man gets mad at me. She goes, "You ever gonna take these out?" I'm like, "Nope." She goes, "Why you buy them?" I said, "Because I like
Like,
collecting
I
them."
wanna, like, put the action figure out, like
And I collect anything Vegeta and anything Darth Vader. That's all I collect now. I don't really collect much of anything else, you know?
They're just in the box like this.
Yeah, but I have so many. Where are you gonna put them
Like,
all?
didn't you see that movie? the man in the cabinet, or what was he? The Indian in the cupboard? Didn't
Oh,
he just
yeah.
have to freeze? And then you shut the cabinet and he's like, "Woo!"
Or it'd be like Toy Story,
Yeah,
when you're not
right?
around, the toys actually
He's
move.
coming.
They're mad because 'cause they're still in the
Yeah.
box. But you have to understand, those are collector items to me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them all. One day, I'm gonna maybe have a case and put them all in a case so you could see them, or hang them on a wall,
They'll just
kinda
end up
thing.
in the pile of plastics of the world.
No,
Yeah, they
those are
will.
collector items. I
Somehow
will
they'll just
never
end up
throw them
there.
away, never, and if they get passed down to our son or if we ever have grandkids, they will those are Paulie knows.
Hang on to that.
Yes, those you don't throw those away. So, oh, we got nothing going on except for Thanksgiving's coming up, right?
Yeah,
So, eat some turkey. We're not ending the show. We'll say
you
happy
might be
Thanksgiving
listening to
soon.
this on
Yeah, you might be
Thanksgiving.
living to this on Thanksgiving, driving to someone's house for some turkey. But we hope everybody has a safe, blessed, fun, filled, lots of cousin walks. Thanksgiving. I want to say it now. We'll say it at the end too. So everyone out there, have a great Thanksgiving. Smoke a lot of weed. If you're gonna consume, go for the cousins walk, right? And if you're gonna
Yeah.
make some stuff with weed in it, make sure people know and you mark it down. And that way we do, So when we bring ours, this has weed in it. That's for the stoners, burners, and potheads, right? And then we don't really go for the walk anymore. We just go out to the garage because your mom now makes a little smoking set for who?
For Mr. Weedman and his people.
Yeah, and the fine folks. So, yeah. So, but everybody out there, have a safe, happy, fun-filled Thanksgiving and be blessed out there. Miss Weeman, want to say anything about that?
Yeah, yeah. It's a fun time of year. We're heading into a week of frigid cold air, and we're supposed to get dumped on with some snow in this coming week. But hopefully, if you're traveling, that weather pattern doesn't screw up your travels. And we just want to say thank you from our hearts for listening, because each one of you that listens gives us a reason to continue doing the show.
Hmm.
So thank you for being our listeners, and thank you for sticking around and riding this out with us. We call this our passion project. We've recently cloned our businesses as just passion projects because
Hmm.
that's really why we do this. It's just a thing. It's something for us to do together. It's something where we like to educate, we like to share. It's a way that we can do that, and we really believe in cannabis. And obviously, if you're here listening, you do too. So it's a big oyster that's just begun to open. The way that communication about cannabis is happening now, it's been this little clam, and now it's just like the world has opened, and there's so much information traveling around, and we just like to be a source of a very tiny crumb of information that we're able to share in a week's episode. And we just thank you for coming back time and time again and listening. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And toke one up and be thankful that you're able to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that Mrs. Weeman got me all crying and sappy, you ready to get the show started?
Yeah.
Let's do
Let's do
this.
it.
This article came from Cannabis Now. It's talking about the evolution of cannabis seeds, from wild landrace roots all the way to today's smart lab engineered genetics. So let's light one up and dive it in. So picture this. Once upon a time, cannabis was just a wild grown plant, thriving in remote mountain valleys. Strains like Afghani, Thai, Colombian gold, rugged, unpredictable, shaped by their environment. These are called landrace varieties. Because they came from nature, they carried a ton of genetic diversity, but they also came from some real challenges: inconsistent yields, weird male female ratios, long flowering times. Then breeders came in, crossing different regional land races to get more desirable traits from THC, better flavor, faster growth. That's where hybridization started, turning chance into purpose breeding. Enter feminized seeds, early 2000s, was a game changer. Instead of rolling the dice of which plants would be female, feminized seeds made it easy. Nearly every plant has flowers. That means growers save space, nutrients, and time, and less stress. Over time, these feminized genetics got super stable, potent, and terpene rich, becoming the go to for both casual growers and some bigger operations. Then came the revolution: autoflower seeds. These seeds, based on Cannabis ruderalis, we've talked about this in the past, don't care about light cycles. They bloom on their own after a certain number of weeks. For growers who want speed, stealth, multiple harvests per year, autoflowers change the game. And get this, modern autoflowers are bumping THC levels, pretty high levels now, and match the flavor and resin of traditional photo period strains. Some wild progress. Now, if we map out how cannabis breeding evolved over the decades, it's pretty clear how far we've come. 1980s through the 90s, mostly land races and early hybrids. THC was modest, genetics were raw. 2000s, feminized times photoperiod hybrids that bought better yields and flavor. The 2010s, autoflowers rise, U.S. hybrids emerge, faster growing cycles, more indoor friendly. 2020 to 2025, boutique polyhybrids finally tuned for potency and terpene depth. 2026, this is a prediction, smart genetics, seeds that adapt to climate,
Mhm.
digital lineage tracking or lineage tracking, purpose-driven terpene profiles.
Hmm.
That's the prediction that they predict for
Very,
2026.
very dialed in.
Yeah. Looking to what's next, breeders are pushing into smart seeds. The next gen genetics could be built to handle regional climates, water, stress, and nutrient swings. Basically, plants that are prepared for whatever environment they land in. And it's not just about THC anymore. Terpenes are becoming a major target. Think strains bred for function, limonene heavy for focus, myrcene driven for deep relaxation. It's like the art of science in one plant, a testament to how next level breeding has become. Here's the big takeaway: cannabis breeding isn't just evolving, it's accelerating. What started as nature doing its own thing, land races, has grown into deliberate, data driven craft, feminized seeds bought control, autoflowers bought speed, and now smart seeds are bringing resilience and purpose. For growers and smokers in our community, knowing this history isn't just nerd talk, it's about understanding where your bud comes from and where it's going. That knowledge lets you pick your genetics like you pick your vibe.
Hmm.
Pretty good.
Mhm.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's come a long way. Even since I started growing and in the 90s too, where it came from then, looking and man, the stuff that we grew in the houses was pretty legit and pretty potent. And we were doing some soil, but mostly we were doing hydro. It's crazy. And it was just an amazing time back then, going from getting dirt sometimes to mediocre weed to when you were growing it yourself in the 90s, or the people you were working with were growing it in the 90s. And when you would smoke that stuff, you were like, holy she is nizzle, you know? And I just remember how that evolved, and then not doing anything with weed for a little bit, growing wise or selling it or anything like that, and watching, but smoking it and watching the evolved of flower, like some stuff that I was like, holy smokes, and you'd get so stoned. This is like 2099 to like 2002, like some shit that was changing, and color, flavor, smell. And you notice that for a very long time, like the transition to today, and how potent and how beautiful plant structure has gotten, and how the different types of breeds and strains you could do now. It's just amazing time to be a young grower just starting out right now with all the options you have equipment wise and
Yeah, and the
breeding wise. And
access to
oh
information
my
and
gosh,
education, and
yeah.
it's so yeah,
Growing now, if you start growing now,
supplies.
you are in probably like one of the best times ever,
Yeah.
and it's going to only get better.
Mhm.
So just if you're into it or going to start, there's so much information out there. We just did another episode of the Grow Hour, all about Synthantics, and Big Earl's recipe, so that's your start right there. So, you know, this is a fun time. Look at it that way. Find some good breeders and ask. They'll answer questions, if
Mhm.
you buy from them, or even if some of them, even if you don't buy from, man, people want you to grow and keep on growing in weed, so you can keep on growing your own medicine. And that's what it's all about. So, um, how cannabis helped this journalist heal from domestic violence and why they're finally speaking about it. And
Yes,
this October was, this was a few weeks ago. This article came out, but this was October during
okay,
Violence Month, right? So
I
just
think
yeah,
so.
it is. So go ahead and tell us about Miss Weedman.
All right. We're going to dive into a deeply personal story, a survivor's journey of healing from domestic violence, and how cannabis played a role in it. The article gives us a raw, honest view into trauma, survival, and recovery. Before we begin, the story that I'm about to discuss includes themes of domestic violence and trauma. I'll be talking about the emotional and physical impacts and how one survivor found support through cannabis. If this is something that you're not in a space to hear right now, please take care of yourself and maybe step aside, hit pause, or revisit the episode when you're ready to listen. So, let's begin with the survivor's story. The author, Sierra Elena, reveals that when she finally left an abusive relationship, she had little more than a black eye and $25 and a body that never stopped bracing for the next blow. Even after physically escaping, the trauma followed her: panic attacks, insomnia, constant fear, wounds that no visible bruise could show. She tried traditional medicine, antidepressants and anxiety drugs, but they dulled her, made it feel hard to feel, and it made it difficult to be present for work and motherhood and life. Then she discovered cannabis. When she combined it with therapy and other treatments, something shifted. The anxiety quieted, her mind slowed, she started to breathe again. For her father, who battled Parkinson's, cannabis had also once given him a bit of dignity, helping with pain and tremors without opioids. That family experience reshaped how she saw the plant, not as a party drug, but as a compassionate aid. Importantly, she noted, cannabis didn't erase the trauma. It didn't fix everything, but it became a tool, a bridge from fear toward functionality. It helped her nervous system settle, her sleep return, her body stop trembling, enough to be present for herself and her children again. She still leaned on the therapy, traditional support, and healing programs. Cannabis was her companion in that process, not a replacement. What's also powerful that this isn't just about survival, it's about transformation, trauma turned into purpose. As CEO of a cannabis wellness brand, Sierra now works to help others use cannabis safely and mindfully, especially people whose healing journeys may look a lot like hers. Her story underscores something huge. Domestic violence doesn't end when you walk out the door. The trauma lives on in your body, your nervous system, your sleep, in the shadows of fear that don't show on the surface. She feels healing needs to be year round, not just during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Survivors need ongoing support, therapy, community, safe spaces to speak their truth. In her story, if her story can help just one person feel seen, someone still silent, still suffering, she says it's worth sharing. Because healing is possible, even if it looks different for everyone. So here's what I hope you hold on to: cannabis can be part of a healing toolbox. For some survivors, it offers relief from anxiety, sleeplessness, hypervigilance, things therapy alone might not be able to fully help. But it shouldn't be romanticized as a cure all. Healing from trauma is messy, multi layered, deeply personal, and almost always needs community, support, therapy, and time. If you know someone who's been hurt or you've been hurt yourself, healing is possible. Tools and healing paths might look different. For Sierra, one of them happened to grow from the earth. So if you're struggling, please remember you're not alone. Healing takes time, and asking for help isn't weak. It shows strength. So take care of yourself because you deserve to feel safe and supported. When I post the link for this article on the weekly kind of notes below when you click
Description
yes, the description of the show. Thank you, Mr. Weedman.
coming through in the
Thank
clutch.
you. I will also include a list of helpful resources for survivors. So we've got phone numbers for hotlines for help for different abuse type situations. So
Thank you, Mrs
if
Weedman.
you need anything, check it out.
Uh, Beautiful article, meaning
Mhm.
coming out
Mhm.
and talking about it, which
Yeah.
is not always easy,
Yeah.
and using cannabis to help,
Mhm.
get through certain points,
Yeah.
it's good stuff. So
Yeah.
anybody in any kind of domestic situation, violence, please go on to those website Mrs. Weeman's going to post and get help. There is a way to get out of it,
Yeah.
you know, and that's a story that we just talked about. I think she had $25 in her pocket,
Mhm.
and walked out with the
Mhm.
bag closed and did it. So there's help out there for you. So we've talked about paranoia before with cannabis and some studies, but this is a little bit more. So does self-medicating with cannabis raise paranoia? The real issue is how studies get weaponized. So this article is a loaded one, self-medicating with cannabis and paranoia and how headlines might be twisting science in ways that hurt more than help. This comes from High Times piece that really cuts through the noise. Here's the situation. A new paper from King's College London in partnership with the University of Bath used a big survey over 3,300 cannabis users to explore why people first started smoking, how much they use, and how what ties into paranoia, anxiety, and depression. The key findings: folks who started using cannabis to cope, like for pain, anxiety, or depression, reported higher paranoia scores than people who started just for fun or curiosity. But, and this is a huge, the study is a social, oh man, I'm so baked right now, I can't pronounce this word. A social national, a social, ASSOCIATIONAL. No? All right. Well, if y'all can.
Associational?
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
baked right now. That's it. You
I
got
am
it.
too.
You got it. So, associational. Thanks, Ms. Weeman,
Hey.
coming through in the clutch again. Not casual. That means it shows a link, not that weed is straight up causing their paranoia. What High Times is calling out: weaponized headlines. Some media
Mhm.
outlets ran with self-medicating causes paranoia, when that's not what researchers claim. High Times argues that this kind of framing revives old cannabis stigmas. Dose matters. In the survey, the authors converted consumption into standard THC units. Think of it like alcohol units, but for THC. On average, respondents consume 206 THC units per week, which is a lot. But people who self medicate actually averaged even more, who could explain part of why they also had higher paranoia, anxiety, depression scores. The circular problem. High Times points out a logical catch. If someone already has distress, anxiety, depression, pain, and then use cannabis because of that, of course, they'll still report more symptoms on the survey. That doesn't necessarily mean cannabis made things worse. They may have just started from a higher baseline. Trauma factor. The study also looked at childhood trauma. Over half of participants reported some type of trauma. And interestingly, people who experienced emotional abuse or household discord tended to report both higher THC use and higher paranoia. High Times argues that without considering these deeper vulnerabilities, you can't just blame cannabis alone. So, what's the bottom line? Yes, self medicating cannabis users in this survey had higher paranoia scores. But no, the study doesn't prove that cannabis causes paranoia. There's nuance, motive, dose, and pre existing mental health all play big roles. High Times is urging folks, especially media, to stop weaponizing ambiguous findings. Use careful language. Don't sensationalize.
Mhm.
And on a public health level, these findings can still be useful. Screening for how someone started using cannabis, their why, could help identify people who might benefit from extra care or education. Why this matters to us in the 420 world. We know cannabis isn't just a blunt or a bong, it's medicine, therapy, escape, and creativity. But with that power comes great responsibility. I stole that from Spider Man, Uncle Ben. Understanding why people use and how that ties into their mental health helps us lift up smart, compassionate conversations, not scare people off or shame them. That was a great article by High Times explaining that whole thing about paranoia and how the media and people weaponize
Mhm.
and stigmatize still to this day cannabis. We see it. We're back into the same situation. We thought things were gonna get better the last 3 or 4 years, and we're now looking at it as like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
banning hemp,
Mm.
they're weaponizing hemp, they're weaponizing cannabis in states that it's not legal or medical. They're weaponi there's so many, groups out there trying to weaponize and stigmatize cannabis. Now there's a lot of us fighting for it too, but it just we're it's why don't they do this with stuff that kills people
Right.
or does even more
Right.
harm? Why don't they put that much effort into it?
Mhm.
And I know there's probably
I don't understand
groups out there that
what they
do.
think is gonna happen. I mean, there's proof now in states where cannabis is legal that crime is not I mean, there's enough positive data.
Yep,
What what is one more state? What's it gonna what? Everything's gonna go crazy?
right.
Mm, well, just
We're not gonna
release
go
it, right. Like,
crazy.
what do they think the federal ban is gonna do effectively to continue it? I don't get it.
I don't know. All I know is there's people coming with us though on this train though, on the train to ride the good smoke,
Yeah,
ride the
fuck yeah.
wave. I told you once,
We're
we ain't
lifers.
going away. Cannabis isn't going away. You've
We're on the
tried.
road to
You've
nowhere,
tried. Good song. Uh,
but we're really going somewhere.
yes. Yeah, I'm telling you.
We
I'm
are.
telling you, keep on fighting. This is
Yeah.
something interesting. I think we've talked about this on the show a long time ago, but I was looking at my wall of bongs and stuff like that, and I said I haven't smoked that one in a long time. I'm like, I kind of know the history of the bong, but I don't know if we've ever really talked about the history of a bong, right?
No.
Where it came from. So, Mrs. Weedman, I'm sure you were curious about this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who invented the bong?
Okay.
Tell
Well,
us
let's
about it,
talk
Mrs.
about it.
Weedman.
All right, smoke history lovers. Do you ever wonder who actually invented the bong and how that little water pipe went from ancient ritual to glass art? Let's uncover the interesting Grass City article, Who Invented the Bong? We'll begin with the ancient roots. Believe it or not, the bong is ancient. The earliest known water pipe goes back around 2,400 years. Archaeologists digging in the Caucasus Mountains of southern Russia found ornate vessels with black residue containing traces of cannabis and opium.
Love it.
Those vessels likely belonged to the Scythians, warrior nomads from Central Asia. The term bong itself comes from the Thai word bong, which meant a bamboo tube used for smoking. The name traveled in part thanks to American soldiers coming back from Vietnam in the 1960s with their bongs
Hmm.
and entered U.S. slang. Around the world, early people used material on hand like bamboo, gourds, animal horns, hollow wood, anything hollow that could hold water. This wasn't necessarily glass art, but it was a functional, simple water pipe that filtered smoke. From there, we can move on to the birth of the modern bong. Fast forward to the 20th century. Water pipes got an upgrade when glass blowing and borosilicate glass entered the picture. That's where Bob Snodgrass comes in. He's widely credited as the pioneer of the modern glass bong. Snodgrass, I like that name, by the way.
Me too. The snodgrasses
Snodgrass?
taste like
Snodgrass.
snodgrasses.
Snozberries. He didn't just make bongs, though. He helped transform them into functional pieces of heady glass art. He developed fuming techniques, fusing gold or silver vapors into glass, meaning a bong could actually visually change over time as resin built up, and it became like a psychedelic evolving piece of art. That's cool. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. From simple water filtration tools to elaborate pieces with percolators, ice catchers, and even art worthy aesthetics. That's modern bong design. Then came a shift in culture. The name bong stuck after being introduced via Thai bamboo pipes, but globally, similar water pipe tools appeared independently across cultures in Asia, Africa, and beyond. Over the centuries, use of water pipes spread throughout the trade routes like the Silk Road, connecting cultures from China to the Middle East and on to Europe. What started as a simple smoke through water experiment became integrated into different social rituals. By the 1960s and 70s, with changing culture, counterculture, and glass blowing, bongs became part of the cannabis boom in the West. Although there isn't a single inventor of the bong, at least not in the way we think of modern invention, the bong is more like a generational relay, handed down across continents and centuries. First, ancient people innovated with natural materials like gourds, bamboo, and hollow wood to filter smoke through water. Over time, as glass blowing and art met function, Bob Snodgrass and folks like him pushed the bong into the realm of functional art. The name bong, of Thai origin, and the tool itself traveled across countries, cultures, and centuries to become the iconic water pipe we know today. So the next time you pick up a bong, you're holding a tool that's thousands of years in the making, a mix of old school ingenuity, modern glass art, and global history.
Love it.
So think about that. That's pretty cool.
Some of the artwork you see with bongs and
Oh,
dab
yeah.
rigs today are just fucking
It's crazy.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The winners of the Urban Legend Cup, those bongs they had this year
Hmm.
were
Hmm.
pretty fucking legit too. That green dragon, I
Their
think.
trophy is a I don't
Yeah.
know if it's a bong. A
There's a
glass
dab rig.
piece. Yeah.
I think it's a dab rig.
Cool.
So an Otto Glass did them, and he did that green dragon. That was
Beautiful.
that goat one. Oh my
Hmm.
god, fucking phenomenal. So, but yeah, some of the stuff you see today is just. I mean, I've always loved going to head shops.
Hmm.
And back when we were kids, you go to the mall back in the 70s and 80s, you go to Spencer's,
Right.
right? And there would be bongs sometimes in those stops.
Oh
There'd be
yeah.
head stuff, and
Hmm.
you'd be like, look at that,
Whoa.
that pipe.
My aunt used to take us to a head shop when we were
Oh,
kids.
I love head shops.
Hmm.
With Aunt.
My aunt Nina.
Oh, she took you to head shops?
We went to yeah.
She's
It was
cool.
called the Alley. It
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
Old Town in
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, that
And it
place is
was
great.
like a vendor market. It was like an old warehouse. And it was, nothing fancy at all. And it was like jeweler cases, like set up in like little horseshoes. So each little bump out, I think, was maybe different people or maybe it was just different stuff. They had like blacklight art, they had records, they had like jewelry, but like
Alley was cool as fuck.
counterculture jewelry. Like
Right.
they had goth jewelry and like hippie jewelry. They had blown glass. They had bongs. They had also so as kids, we'd go get ice cream at Second City, yeah, and Piper's Alley, and then we'd go back and we'd be like, "Let's go in, let's go in." Oh my god, it
I
was
love
fun.
going. I always
Posters.
love going to head shops. Love it, love it, love it. It's like
It's
some of my
great.
favorite experiences. Like the real, like old school ones too. That
Mhm.
had some brilliant looking stuff back in the day that just didn't all come from China. It was like
Yeah.
original glass pieces and stuff that were just amazing. Yeah, I still do love going into.
No, it was not called the Alley. It was called I'm sorry, I called it the Alley. The Alley was it still is the Alley.
Right.
This was called Bazaar Bazaar.
Bizarre. There you
Bazaar
go. You've
Bazaar.
talked about that. I never got a chance to go there. It wasn't open
Yeah.
when I moved up here, but you've taken me to the alley.
I
But
went
the
there
alley
I
had a
went
lot.
there
The alley
through
was pretty cool
Oh, the
too.
Alley is still
Yeah,
cool.
clothing
Yeah.
shop, records.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I got to go to his estate sale.
oh really?
Yeah, remember
Oh,
the
that's
Darth
right.
Vader
Yes,
the print I got you?
Yes, you got me a couple prints.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to hang all those up. Political, state, and business news. Big oof in Rhode Island. Over 60% of social equity hopefuls for cannabis retail licenses got disqualified during screening. Only 36 and 94 applicants made the cut. There are just 6 social equity licenses up for grabs in December lottery. Equity is supposed to open doors, but right now it's feeling a little tight. Squeeze. Big throwback vibe. A U.S. attorney in Wyoming says that Trump administration thinks marijuana is a public safety hazard and plans to aggressively prosecute weed possession on federal land. Lawmakers and advocates are slapping back, saying low-level pot users aren't a crime wave. They're just people enjoying a joint. Big win. The Trump admin quietly dropped a new rule saying working in a state, legal cannabis businesses won't automatically disqualify you from some federal benefits like public service loan forgiveness. So if you're trimming buds or doing regulatory work in a legal state, you might still get your loans forgiven. Moreover, stigma, the rules are catching up. Big drama in the hemp world. Roger Stone, longtime ally to the president, says GOP lawmakers forced Trump to sign spending bill that quietly bans THC-containing hemp products. He blasts Congress for burying sweeping prohibition language in the must-pass bill, calling it prohibition by the back door. Stone argues this kills jobs, access, and the industry he credits Trump for building. They put some pork in that bill. Pork, bunch of pork. Quick hot take. It's been 5 years since South Dakota legalized medical cannabis, and the DOH says the program is putting down real roots. Over 17,000 folks now hold medical cards. The program still feels like it's growing up. Not perfect, but alive, kicking, and healing its people. Big hit to genetics. A new federal hemp THC ban means seeds for plants over 0.3% THC, yep, including THCA, will be classified as marijuana. That kills interstate and global seed trade, stomps on breeders' innovation, and risks wiping out the shared gene pool that marijuana companies rely on. Here's a wild one. The DOJ just declined to file a Supreme Court brief on a case where cannabis companies are challenging the federal weed ban. These businesses, like Canna Provisions and Verano, want SCOTUS to revisit, Reich, and strike down prohibition under the Commerce Clause. Basically, they are sitting this one out, leaving the court to decide without their spin. In New York, legal weed prices just plummeted 17% drop from about $38.61 a unit in 2023 to 32.15. Now, with 500 plus dispensaries, more cultivators flooding shelves, competition is fierce. Basically, legal weed is finally getting cheaper and even more competitive with the black market. Here's a hot one from Nebraska. The Medical Cannabis Commission wants input from cannabis manufacturing during a December 2nd listening session. They're calling on folks to share best practices for patient safety in making different types of cannabis products. Kansas City might let a couple dispensaries run in 24/7. Damn. Councilmember Crispin Ray pushing a zoning tweak for shops over 1,000 feet away from homes, mainly key cannabis on Front Street and from the Earth downtown. City staff likes it, and Reyes says licensed dispensaries are safer than those sketchy knockoffs. THC shops. Special use permits would keep everything reviewed every 5 years. Midnight Munchies meets Midnight Dispensaries. Hot off the SES timesheet, Nancy Mace, Republican, South Carolina, just circulated the American Hemp Protection Act of 2025, aiming to block the federal hemp THC ban tucked into the spending deal. It was pork. She says that the ban would deal a fatal blow to U.S. farmers and small cannabinoid businesses, and she devoted a full year to fight. Listen, Miss Mace, get up with Rand Paul. He's fighting too. Don't do this alone. Find the people that want this and go work together. You ain't going to survive by yourself. You're going to get swallowed. So find more help in the Congress and the Senate. Come together. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. This needs to be a bipartisan thing that and independents, you all need to come together and fight for what we got taken away from us.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do it alone. Here's a hot take from Texas. The TABC is pushing ahead with permit rules for hemp-derived THC, even while a new federal ban limiting THC above 0.4 milligrams looms. They're keeping a 21-plus age limit and ID checks, echoing Governor Abbott's orders. Texas are saying, yeah, we'll regulate, but we're not going out quietly or without a fight. Some congressional lawmakers, led by Representative Ilhan Omar, are pushing for an exemption for the new federal hemp THC ban, but only for states that already regulate cannabinoid products. They argue states like Minnesota, with mature hemp rules, should be punished by blanket prohibition. Tune in, Congress. There's a compromise blaze to be made. San Francisco is hitting the pause button again. The city's board just voted to suspend its cannabis business tax through 2025, pushing it out until January 2026. With legal shops already fighting over production, black market shadows, and high costs, this break could be a lifeline. Also, today is November 25th. Today in Michigan, there was people going to the courts to fight that 24% tax. I don't know the outcome yet. Hopefully, I'll have it for the next episode. Hopefully, they, came kicking and screaming. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for more of that. Now over to you, Miss Weedman, passing that doink.
Yep. More political, state, and business news. You want the doink, Mr. Weedman?
No, not yet.
Joe Rogan is pissed. He's calling the new federal hemp THC ban Trump signed really bad, saying it blocks people from getting CBD with even a trace of THC. He points the finger at alcohol lobbyists, claiming they pushed Congress to kill healthy, low THC hemp. Keep them folks drinking instead of vaping, is what is going on there, I think. The New York Medical Cannabis Industry Association just filed a lawsuit against the Office of Cannabis Management, and Jessica Garcia, chair of the Cannabis Control Board, says the state's regulators are dropping the ball. They want a court order forcing the state to stop illicit cannabis sales, deploy a full seed-to-sale tracking system, and shut down unauthorized players infiltrating the legal market. Yikes, Jessica. Okay. The Arizona Department of Health Services fined a cannabis testing lab $120,000 for alleged nepotism and faulty testing. Yet the agency keeps most disciplinary records under wraps. No public database, limited transparency, and lots of unanswered questions. So stay tuned because regulatory daylight matters more than ever. In Oklahoma, you can get a DUI for THC in your system even if you haven't smoked in days because the law doesn't require proof that you're actually high. Lawyer Clay Curtis warns this is one of the toughest weed driving laws in the country. Bottom line, don't sleep on drug driving rules. They're real and they're risky. Senator Rand Paul is calling out the alcohol and marijuana lobby for backing a federal hemp THC ban, and he's introducing a bill this week to reverse it. He argues the ban could wipe out a $28 billion hemp industry and thinks state hemp laws should override the federal crackdown.
Representative Mace, see? You
Mm-hmm,
got
mm-hmm,
allies.
mm-hmm.
Find the allies.
Yep.
This next one you're going to talk about
Mm-hmm,
is complete fucking horseshit.
mm-hmm.
And everybody in Florida, you
Yep.
need to sue. Go
Yep.
ahead, tell them.
A big turn in Florida. A judge just ruled for the DeSantis administration, tossing out over 200,000 petition signatures for a 2026 recreational cannabis legalization measure. That's like chopping out a third of the campaign's progress, and they're already vowing to appeal. Legalization campaigners are not backing down.
Hell yeah, fight it out. Let's
Fight it.
go.
Mm-hmm. All right, get this. Country star Ernest straight up says he pulled out a vape pen in the White House. He told the Taste of Country Nights show, just ripped a pen in the White House, hiding it in his fist like it was no big deal. Wild flex, Ernest. Not everyone gets to say their highest level performance was at 1600 Pennsylvania. Ohio lawmakers passed Senate Bill 56, which not only scales back parts of the voter approved adult cannabis use law, but also mirrors the new federal ban on intoxicating hemp products. Among other changes, hemp derived THC goods banned outside dispensaries. THC caps were introduced, and extra restrictions were added. And yes, critics say they are ignoring the voters. Americans for Prosperity Foundation just urged the Supreme Court to hear a case challenging federal weed prohibition, calling the Controlled Substance Act ban on interstate cannabis a blow to states' rights. They want the court to overrule. Let's hope they get that worked out. A big move in Nebraska. The Omaha tribe just passed its cannabis regulations, becoming the first in the state to fully legalize and regulate adult use weed on tribal land. They're building out a cannabis regulatory commission, strict testing rules, social equity, and even expungement for old offenses. And here's one for the upcoming Turkey Day sesh. Pre Thanksgiving cousin walks. They're fueling legal weed sales like crazy. Green Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, is now the second biggest day for weed purchases, right behind 420. With 24 states allowing rec use and snack brands leaning in, it's official. The stroll before dinner just got a lot greener. Sonoma County busted an illegal cannabis extraction lab in a 17,000 square foot Santa Rosa warehouse. Get this, the place had volatile, life threatening chemicals. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Yeah, that's in that shit that you're vaping. Sketchy construction. Go figure. And it violated fire safety codes.
You think?
Maybe. Multiple agency teams scrambled to clean up that mess. Over to you, Mr. Weedman.
Thanks, Mrs Weedman. Chronic pain patients are sounding the alarms. They say Congress knew hemp THC restrictions could wreck access to much-needed relief. Lawmakers are urged to rethink this. For some folks, hemp isn't about the high, it's about the healing. Folks in California are skipping the booze and going full California sober this Thanksgiving, opting for cannabis over cocktails. Bloomberg reports cannabis-infused dishes and drinks are showing up at dinner tables while alcohol sales slip. So if your uncle asks for another drink, maybe hand him a gummy instead. Representative Tina Titus, Democrat of Nevada, is calling out the DOJ. She's demanding answers after news broke that prosecutors will again rigorously pursue marijuana possessions on federal land. She says the move resurrects outdated law and will disproportionately harm marginalized communities. Transparency Congress, the people deserve it. Hot weed politics coming out of Oregon. Activists from the Oregon Cannabis Cafe Coalition officially withdrew their 2026 ballot push to legalize public cannabis social lounges. Their founders say they're pushing to build a stronger version of the plan, and they're not quitting. All right. When I read that part, I was like, all right, good, because I love the state of Oregon. I've only been to Portland. I haven't been anywhere else, and I do want to explore more of Oregon, but Portland would dominate
Mhm.
with cafe lounge.
Mhm.
I mean, you don't have to have a lot, but I mean, it's like hand in hand. Coffee
Yeah.
shops, craft beer places, and fucking weed lounges. Man, I might move there. Here's a quick news drop on Tennessee's hemp world. The Tennessee Department of Agriculture runs the hemp growing program. Sorry, everybody, requiring annual licenses for every location. With the new law, Public Chapter 526, taking effect January 1st, 2026, regulations of hemp derived THC products shift over to the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Big alert, fam. A Missouri cannabis company just got hit with a $3 million payout after a worker's asthma attack caused by fine cannabis dust triggered a heart attack. New research supports it. Cannabis workers face growing risks of occupational asthma. We talked about it too in a prior episode, and some tragic cases, even death. Smoke your flower, don't work your lungs to death. And like I said, people that work in the cannabis facilities, you need to have protective gear. And if your companies are not giving you either the dollars to go buy yourself protective gear or offering protective gear on site while you're working, you need to call OSHA. Sorry to say it, but this is going to give a bad name to the cannabis industry if we don't protect the workers of the industry. Representative Brian Mass, Republican of Florida, a veteran himself, says Senate Republicans made a detrimental mistake by blocking provisions that would allow VA doctors to recommend medical cannabis to vets. He argues it's a no-brainer. Giving veterans access to relief, especially in legal states, is common sense. Mass promises he'll keep pushing next year. Hey, good news on the grind. Latinas in Cannabis just launched a Seed of Change small business grant for women in the weed world. This is from greenstate.com. They're giving away $500 grants to women-owned cannabis businesses. Applications are open until December 4th, 2025, and winners get announced at MJ BizCon. Empowerment plus green. I'm here for it. How about you, Ms. Weedman?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Gen Z is not here just to get blasted. They're buying cannabis with purpose. MJ Biz Daily says they use THC to focus, distress, or study, not just party. They gravitate to a low dose edibles, functional cannabinoids like THCV and CBG, and want real talk on effects. Retailers are shifting to match wellness first, intentional use, not just potency over everything. Smart kids, you Gen Zers. All right, Mrs. Weedman.
Mhm.
In this article, what did you say when you read it? How long have we been talking about this?
I said, "Mr. Weedman, did you write this article?"
For we've been doing the show 6.5 years now,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And for 6.5 years, I've probably mentioned something about this. And working in the industry for as long as I have, I've said this
Yeah.
hundreds of times. This article nails it. You bud tenders out there, to me, are still the most important people in the industry. You control the industry. Don't ever forget that. You have power in your voice. You have power to build brands. You have power to destroy brands. You are the gatekeepers of the industry. You are the most important people. You know it all. You know the gossip. You know the strains. You know what's going on in the cultivator world. You know what's going on in the customer world. You know numbers. You know what brand is hot, what brand is down. It's impressive. Now, Mrs. Weeman's going to take you through this article that was written by Green State, right? Yeah, I think
Yep.
Green State.
Yep.
And she's going to talk about this. And it's important that you all listen to this article because I love you, bartenders out there. You're my peeps. I love you. So this one's for you. Tell them about it, Ms. Weedman.
All right. The green rush is over. Welcome to the age of discipline and cannabis. For more than a decade now, the cannabis industry has run on adrenaline. Companies chased market share, expansion headlines, and billion-dollar valuations, assuming the green rush would never end. But it has. And what's left isn't a crash so much as a reckoning. The days of grow fast, figure it out later are behind us. The winners from here will be the ones who treat cannabis as what it truly is, a business.
It's always been a business.
You could call it the age of discipline. It's less glamour than hype, but it keeps the lights on. Operational and fiscal discipline, knowing exactly how much every gram costs from trim to shelf, and whether that cost is creeping up or down, is what separates sustainable companies from the ones racing each other to the bottom. You can tell which is which by how they talk about marketing. Many cannabis brands still believe brand means a cool logo and a few pop ups. That's not brand building, that's decoration. True brands build demand. They get customers walking into dispensaries asking for them by name. Very few companies in the cannabis industry practice this. Instead of learning how to deepen loyalty where they already sell, most chase expansion for its own sake, planting flags in new states without the support necessary to ensure that products sell once they're on dispensary shelves. It's the difference between going wide and going deep. The former burns cash and attention, while the latter compounds trust and profitability. In this way, many brands are really just the equivalent of the little stickers on bananas or avocados. Yeah, that's funny. Interchangeable, forgettable, and unconvincing. Ouch. Well, an effective consumer marketing program addresses the entire journey a customer takes, from becoming aware of a brand or product to returning to that store or any store to buy it repeatedly. This is a concept that is second nature in consumer packaged goods, but is largely missing in the cannabis industry. At the top of that funnel is awareness, where many brands get stuck. That merch hat someone spots at the grocery store or a must have event that makes them curious about who we are. Then comes consideration, or like the middle of the funnel, connecting the dots between the brand promise and the product experience. Then purchase or conversion, that magical bottom of the funnel moment when a consumer chooses your product over 25 others on the shelf. And finally, loyalty, the repeat behavior that proves you've earned trust. Every step in that funnel has to be engineered. We plan it, we measure it, and we never assume the customer will make it to the next stage without a nudge. That's why we should put as much care into field marketing as we do manufacturing. In the cannabis industry, the bud tender is the gatekeeper. They're the ones who actually hand over the product and can make or break a sale by changing the shopper's intention to purchase your product with a single recommendation. Smart teams spend more time in dispensaries than anywhere else. Product demonstrations and brand pop ups for customers are usually a waste of time. You'll only connect with a handful of customers that happen to come through while you're there. Instead, build a regular practice of bringing them love in the form of lunch, swag, or anything else that shows respect and that you value their important role in the customer journey. A bud tender wearing your logo is worth more than any billboard on any highway.
Fuck billboards.
The green rush made a lot of noise. The age of discipline won't. It's quieter, steadier, and more sustainable. Companies that learn to think like CPG operators master the customer journey. They honor their bud tenders, and they know that their numbers will define the next decade of cannabis. I think there's something to be said there.
No, I wonder if everybody listens to how many shows we've been talking about that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out in the market a lot, and I talk about that all the time. That whole article. I've been in the industry for a very long time, and I've been saying that for a very long time.
Yeah.
I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm a nobody. I don't know much. I like to learn and I like to listen. And I like to talk about what I've learned. So that whole article right there, the person that wrote that came from Green State, I mean, spot on.
Mhm.
Spot the fuck on, you know? It is an industry that is not easy if you're in it, if you're in the legal market. It is not, and Mrs. Weedman knows, she's seen me and she's
I've
seen,
seen it for myself
yeah, and
with
building
8
8
decades.
decades, right. It is not it is
It
not
doesn't operate like any other
no,
market.
it's not an easy
I've been in
industry.
retail before.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of these things before.
I would love to hold a class one day and teach you all how to
It's
really
like, what the
move
fuck
and
is going
groove.
on
I
here?
love smoking weed. I love smoking weed, but business is fucking business and smoking weed is smoking weed. And when it's business fucking time and you got to get shit fucking done, there ain't time to smoke weed. There's time to get business done and get your shit done. And then you can smoke all the fucking weed you want. I love weed. I'll smoke it fucking with you. But I'm telling you what, I like to get my shit done. You ask Mrs. Weeman, and then I have fun.
Mhm.
My shit's important. I got shit to do. I got shit to sell. I got people to meet, hands to shake, hugs to give, right?
Yes.
That's how it is.
Yes.
You gotta go out there. You gotta be a fucking go-getter out there in the world right now. There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of people trying to sell shit in the cannabis world on all aspects. Ms. Weedman's laughing because the intensity she doesn't like when the intensity comes out from Mr. Weedman.
No, it's I just have a lot of opinion about what, and I'm biting my tongue, Mr. Weedman.
Not about me. All
No.
right, good.
No.
Mrs. Weedman and I can hold we've been in sales a very, very long time. My whole life,
Yeah.
I've been in sales. You too. And there's a way about doing business and there's a way about not doing business. You have to be accountable to what you do. You have to have discipline. You have to have fucking intensity and passion and love for what you do. Because if you don't, get the fuck out.
It's a long game, people.
Oh my God.
And cannabis came rolling in like it was a short game. Fucking business has been around for centuries.
Yep.
It's a long game.
10,000 years, baby.
We're
People
trying to
been.
modernize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing new. We're just trying to make it available.
And there's a lot of people
And a lot
fucking
of
it up
people
out
are
there.
not understanding how that works.
Phew.
And ugh,
I can give you all a
it's a
lesson.
it's a painful industry.
It is not easy. It is not a fucking easy industry. And there's a lot of people out there that don't make it easy. And I hate to say it, but there's 20% of the people out there that make it easy and make it fucking smooth. And there's 80% of the people out there that it's like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? And you might not like what I'm saying right now, but tough shit. Grow up. Put some fucking pants on. We all put our fucking pants on one leg at a time. I don't know too many people that put it on two at a time.
Communication.
Is a
Respond to fucking email.
yes, thank you.
Business people.
If you like, if you
Business. That's the magical word.
email, text, calls, respond, answer.
Holy shit.
Don't ghost fucking people. You HR people hiring people out there, stop ghosting fucking people. I know people that have applied to 50 jobs and got ghosted on not even a return email going, sorry, you're not the right fit. Fuck you. That's not right to do to people. Who the fuck do you think you are? You ain't nobody special working in the cannabis industry. It's a business. Billions of dollars going through people's hands. Consumers fucking and bud tenders control this fucking industry. They make or break you. You know what I'm saying? Get fucking shit done. Get off your fucking high horses because you're going to fall off and there ain't going to be nobody there to fucking help you up. Hate to say it. Sorry, I went off the deep end right there. But I'm telling you what, you want to have a conversation with me about this? Come step in my fucking studio and we'll have a nice conversation about it. I will eat you up for lunch, breakfast, and dinner and have a snack later and
Hey,
smile.
are you saying HR specifically?
No, I'm talking
You're
about
just talking about like
just in general.
the business.
Yeah, in general. Fucking I'm telling you, it's frustrating as fuck out there.
Mhm.
And people know me. Know
I
what
mean,
I
it's just
do.
like simple common sense,
Your word is your bond.
like business operations. Communication, no sale's gonna happen, nothing's gonna finalize,
And
and everybody's part of a bigger picture,
mhm.
and everybody has a role in the dice moving. And so you get one person who's just too fucking lazy to do their job or
Brutal.
doesn't think that communication is important, and then you bottleneck everything for everybody behind it.
Stuck.
It's like, come on, it's just an email. It's just an email.
It's brutal. It's just not
Yeah.
fun. It's not fun
And
when you're sitting
it's
there.
more than that. I mean, that's
Right.
such a like a one little
And if
thing,
you
but it
te
is a big thing,
and if you tell me
you
you're
know?
busy, that is the lamest fucking excuse. We're all
We're all
fucking
fucking
busy.
busy. But if I told this is like from going to motivational like business speaking
Oh my god, we've
engagements.
been to hundreds of them.
Do you tell people you're busy? Raise your hand if you tell people you're busy. And these are all like, 2%ers in the audience. They're like, yeah, I'm busy. Oh, fuck yeah, I'm busy. I'm the busiest fucking person. He's like, yeah, you're so busy. Like, could you help your mom move tomorrow? Oh, fuck no, fuck no. Hey, I got like, home plate seats for the Cubs game, home game, like game 3 of the World Series. You busy? Oh, fuck yeah. I'll clear my schedule. All right. So busy is a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Lamest
Basically,
excuse fucking
right?
ever.
You will make time for what you think is important.
Exactly.
You will always have
100%.
time when you want to do what it is being asked of you.
Yes.
That's it.
S
So just email me back.
Yeah. Just
Or, give us a call.
yeah. I
Like
answer all
right.
3. I keep my phone
Oh,
on till midnight. Miss
yeah.
Weedman knows I'll answer. I don't give a fuck. I'm about business. It's about business. The job's never done when you're in the fucking cannabis industry. Never done in any industry, but I'm in this industry now, and it's never done. It never fucking stops. I'm just telling you out there, if I disappointed you on this fucking rant,
Yeah, we're on a little rant
I
right
don't
now.
give a shit because like I said, come to my studio and tell me why you're so busy. And I'll give you 50 reasons why you're not. But I'm telling you what, if you don't start getting your shit together and making business run smooth, you're going to be left behind.
This goes into so many
Oh
levels of
God, I can write a
this
fucking,
industry.
we could do
Yeah.
an hour-long fucking talk just on this. And we've been talking about it for 11 minutes now. I'm serious. I'm serious. You're all fucking it up out there. You're fucking it up. Be
Okay, but
honest.
Mr. Weedman, let's get a little kumbaya going
Okay.
right now.
Kumbaya.
People may be listening on Thanksgiving. They don't
Oh,
want to hear
yeah.
us bitching and
Yes.
moaning.
Yes. Sorry.
So we're gonna reel it in.
Yes.
We're reeling it
We're
in.
reeling it in and we're going to international news.
Yeah. Peace, everybody. Peace, love,
We
and
love you out there.
smoke a joint.
Yes, we do. It just,
Yes.
if you know,
It was just a little moment there.
yeah, oh yeah.
We all have it.
The goat genetics weed, boy.
Maybe you just had a moment today, so now you can empathize with us.
I give you a hug. And
Hug it out. Hug it out.
Yeah. International news. In Israel, HMOs, the number one of patients receiving medical cannabis, fell for the first time since 2011, dropping as health funding bodies tighten approvals. Interestingly, while overall users decline, approvals remain strong for folks with severe PTSD and chronic pain, where gatekeeping still loosens. Scientists at the University of Adelaide developed a non-destructive leaf scanner that predicts THC and other cannabinoid levels weeks before harvest using a
Wow.
handheld hyperspectral device and machine learning. That's a total game changer.
Hmm.
Growers can pick which plants to keep, avoid breaking THC laws, and boost quality without cropping up flowers early. That's a
Whoa.
power move coming out of Australia.
That's pretty neat.
Hi, Tez.
What's up?
Kenya's High Court just gave the Attorney General extra time to respond to a case from a Rastafari society, which is pushing to decriminalize cannabis. They argue smoking ganja is part of their religion, not a crime. Hearing is now set for January, judgment in March 26. Patience is a virtue, everybody, especially in court. Big move out in Germany. Over 58,462 people have signed a Bundestag petition demanding that health ministry reverse its plan to tighten medical cannabis laws. The petition warns that changes would block access, especially for folks in rural areas or with limited mobility. Patients plus industry reps are pushing for fair, science-backed policy. Let's watch and see what happens. Big news from Brazil: a national judicial Maritaro task force just received 3,676 marijuana possession convictions for people caught with up to 40 grams or 6 plants. After the STF ruled, those cases should be a criminal. It's a long overdue cleanup. The courts are fixing past wrongs, one case at a time. Brazil just lit up the weed world. And PRAPA, the National Agricultural Research Agency, got a green light from health regulations, Visa, to research cannabis. They're building their first ever cannabis seed bank, funding it with 13 million reals and planning a 12-year research mission, maybe longer. Potential through the fucking roof. The global legal weed boom is popping off, but according to High Times, the U.S. is getting left behind. While other countries scale exports, build healthcare line markets, and regulate with structure, America is still stuck in the green rush hangover, or in like the 1937. Quick heads up for all the 420 snowbirds heading to Mexico. The U.S. Embassy reminds you drug possession is illegal there, even weed. They also say register with the Smart Travelers Enrollment Program, STEP, lock up your passport and FMMs, that's your travel permit, and skip sketchy checkpoints. The cannabis industry is calling on governments to boost support for cannabis exports, especially as global demand climbs. Canadian companies alone filed over 1,200 export permits this year, but without stronger policy backing, some say growers risk getting stuck in a supply glut, and that could kill the green rush overseas. Go back to that Mexico one real quick. A friend of ours, uh, uh, from the industry, they buy 8 decades products,
Mhm.
was in Mexico, I think 6 months or a year ago on a wedding trip, but had weed on them, got caught by the policia. They were going to take him to jail, but then got extorted for $600 to let him go. But they had to run all over to try to get
The
cash because they didn't
money.
have $600
Mhm.
on them. There, and then they took the weed and the 600 and left him hanging somewhere like in the middle of nowhere. It was like,
Oof.
yeah, really fucked up. So yeah, so be careful. Be careful. I mean, you want to what happened?
That's really scary.
Yeah. So be careful out there. Fun times. Thanksgiving.
Yes.
What is the one thing that folks like to do on Thanksgiving besides eat food, have a drinky drink, eat some turkey, watch some football, watch some fun Thanksgiving movies, all that traditions that you do, but there's just one really good one.
Yep.
What's tell us about Ms. Weedman?
We're going to talk about the cousin walk, which we've talked about
Yes.
around
Oh,
holidays,
every
right?
holiday, yeah.
Well, guess what? It's become a new Thanksgiving tradition, believe that or not. Thanksgiving is here. And I don't know about you, but I've seen a new kind of holiday prep going viral lately. There's this thing called the cousin walk. And yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. According to The Independent, a growing number of younger adults are slipping out of the house before the turkey hits the table, lighting up a joint, and coming back just as the gravy is being passed. Let's dig into how this quiet little family ritual went from hush hush to headline news. We've talked about this in past years on the show, but let's cover it again. The cousin walk. It's a pre turkey stroll, usually just a quick walk around the block or a trip to the corner store where some family members sneak off together. But it's not just about fresh air. Many use the walk to smoke weed before rejoining the main event. Originally, this was more of a stoner's inside joke, a way to sneak a quick toke without drawing too much attention. But with more states legalizing recreational use, it's starting to look a little different. It's not just for surviving the in law questions, it's just becoming a tradition of its own. Why do we think it's catching on? It's about timing. Thanksgiving dinner means turkey, rolls, pie, a built in appetite. Some people see the cousin walk as a way to enhance the feast. According to anecdotal reports, the pre meal toke reportedly helps elevate the mood. A little less holiday stress, a little more gratitude, or at least a few extra laughs. It's discreet, if cannabis is legal where you live, a walk seems innocuous, better than dragging out the bong in front of grandma. Many participants emphasize making it a quick puff, a short stroll, and a fresh air reset. It's part of a cultural shift. As legalization spreads and more millennials and Gen Zers skip booze for weed, especially around the holidays, traditions shift. Some cannabis companies have begun marketing products with the cousin walk in mind: pre rolls, discreet packs, holiday bundles, all timed and themed for pre dinner ritual. Here are a few voices that capture the vibe. One person described it as a quick walk, puff, laugh, roll eyes at said uncle, kind of a trip before heading back inside. A chef who cooks with cannabis said the walk was more than the dinner. It's like where all the real stories get swapped, some of the very best times in life. The trend has gotten commercial enough that some dispensaries and food brands are leaning into it with pre rolls, And even some peanut butter ads are targeting holiday cannabis users.
Mhm.
Thanksgiving has long been about food, family, tradition. Now, cannabis culture is quietly weaving into that fabric. What used to be taboo is just becoming another option on the holiday menu. Not everyone's on board, though. Some relatives may not approve. Children could be around, and there could be real discomfort if things go poorly. The walk's discreetness helps, but it doesn't erase those tensions. As companies market to the cousin walk, there's a risk that traditions get commodified, and what started as a low key ritual could become a marketing ploy. Yuck. So here's the bottom line: the cousin walk. It's a snapshot of changing times. Whether you see it as harmless fun, aesthetic ritual, or something more controversial, it's a sign of how cannabis is going mainstream. If you're gathering with family this year and you've got that one cousin who winks and says with raised eyebrows, "Want to walk?" Maybe now you know what that means. And whether you join or just pass the gravy, you're witnessing a tiny cultural shift happening quietly between the pumpkin pie and stuffing.
Nice. The
It's cute.
cousin walk.
The cousin walk.
The second biggest holiday of the year right now is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's considered the second largest cannabis celebration. It falls just behind 420 on in April. And I didn't know this. It was a weed dispensary in California. The holiday originated in 2016 after a California-based cannabis delivery service noticed an unexpected surge in sales on the day before Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
As a result, the day was deemed Green Wednesday and became a significant event in the cannabis calendar. In fact, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is considered, like I said, the second biggest selling day of the year now. That's
Huh.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Huge sales
Huh.
coming here across the country. Illinois,
That's cool.
tomorrow's the day to go shopping.
But I mean, the cousin walk is really kind of at any gathering you're at.
Yeah,
You
any
know, it's kind
holiday.
of like you want to go out for a walk.
Yes, but this is a
And
big one because
yeah,
everyone's together.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is a big
And it's
holiday.
because you are doing it with family,
Yes, and you're with
not
yeah,
friends.
you're with your cousins, tons of, your parents, brothers and sisters all together. They
People
all
you may
yeah,
have never smoked with
right.
before, and you're like,
Yeah.
"No shit,
Yeah, I didn't you
they're going on the cousin
yeah,
walk."
you
Whoop whoop.
smoke. Yeah, what's
Okay,
up with that?
all right. That's where we are. Okay, it's kind of fun in that way.
Now we're the cool aunt and uncle because all the nieces and nephews are all of age. No, Mr. and Mrs. Weedman have weed, and they're waiting for us to go.
Like we going?
Yeah, we're going. When are we going?
You got joints,
Yeah,
right?
every time. No one brings weed, but Mr. It's weird.
Well, why would they?
I know. We always bring weed. So,
We got him,
Mrs. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
that's the end of the show.
That's it.
You got anything else to say before we go?
Thank you, Mr. Weedman.
Oh,
Thank you for being just a good Mr. Weedman.
thank you.
Good human, a good husband, a good caretaker, because, I'm a pain in the ass. So thanks for putting up with me. And thank you for doing this show because it means a lot to a lot of people. And it is just cool that you do it.
Thanks, Mrs. Weedman.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for me bamboozling you to do this show with me.
Yeah. I'm sticking around.
Come on, do one show with me. I need your help.
Yeah, you could thank me for that.
I
That's all right.
bamboozled you.
Come on.
I am thanking you for joining me on episode 15, and you were supposed to be like maybe one or
Yeah,
two
what are
episodes.
we at now? Like, yeah.
285.
Yeah.
Now you
Yeah.
did.
We're supposed to be a
200
couple months.
Yeah, you did 275 of them with me.
Yeah.
200,
It's been a minute.
270 with me. Yes. So, but I'm thankful for you. Not only just doing the show with me, I'm just thankful for you, just for loving me each and every day, for the jerk that I am, the good person that I am, the asshole that I could be, and just sometimes the
too.
fun guy that makes you laugh. All of it. I appreciate you. I love you, and I'm
Love you.
thankful for our 32nd Thanksgiving together.
Dang.
Damn.
Woo. I love you long time.
Yeah, I love you long time. Oh shit. Goat. Thanks for throwing to the cause.
Yeah, good weed.
Yeah, thanks, Goat
Thank
Genetics.
you.
Check him out. His genetics are
I'm
amazing.
definitely elevated.
Oh yeah, been whew. And everybody, if I offended you in that little conversation that we had about the industry, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Because I'm only telling you the truth. And the truth will set you free. So but I want to tell everybody around the world that's been listening to us for the last 6.5 years, thank you. Thank you for keeping me motivated every week and keep me making this my favorite day of the week. Uh, Mondays is not so much my favorite day of the week because I have to put the show together. I'm sitting there downstairs for like 4 or 5
Hours.
hours, and not being stoned. I don't really smoke when I do the show because I have to. I need to concentrate, and if I get stoned, I'm not going to concentrate. Now, Mrs. Weedman has gotten me stoned a bunch of times while I'm doing the show. Next thing you know, I'm listening to music. I'm doing something else. I'm on my phone. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh fuck, I still got like another 2 more hours to go. So I try. It's the reward. Do the work, get the reward. So on Mondays, I do this show after a week of research, Mondays, and then Tuesdays, Mrs. Weedman and I do the show. And I look forward to reading articles as much as I do. It's what I do mostly all day, every day is the research, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to get to read all the articles I get to read and all the great journalists that I get to read from and learn from and people I get to meet and talk to and all the great weed that I've gotten to smoke. I'm thankful for
Mm,
that. I'm thankful for the love I get across the world and Mrs. Weeman,
mhm,
and I thank you for the support on that. 185 countries around the world, almost 8,600 cities now. Somebody is listening to us or has listened to us, and thank you.
mhm,
I mean, I never would have thought it. I'm
yeah,
thankful for you all. Just keep me going every week. I won't stop, and I love you all out there, and I'm thankful. Have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving in this country. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, just be thankful for what you got and what you could get and how you can live and love life. And I love you all out there. I really seriously do. Uh, keep on going, keep on fighting, and keep on living every day. Because as Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puff and away.
puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a ninth decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.